Great. Welcome to Digital Asset News. My name is Rob, and today what I want to talk to you about is my trip down to New York as I stepped foot in the Solana store. I'm going to talk to you exactly what they're doing over there as they're bringing adoption through education. I got to tell you, I think it's a step in the right direction. I'll also tell you about some pitfalls that are going on and everything in between. So first things first, let's just take a look at exactly what is going on in the market. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the markets. I've decided that if there's something important, I will, but just so you know, market's down, NASDAQ is down, S&P is down, everything's down pretty much across the board. But I will say that there is one person that continues to buy, and that's whale number 3. Whale number 3, this is the old address, links in the description, 1P5Z. You can find this on BitInfo charts. And around July 21st or so, they pretty much just transferred everything over. July 20th, somewhere in there. And now whale number 3, or wallet number 3, you want to call it, they, as you can see, have been doing just buying since around that June, July date period. And they have only sold on July 26th, 28th, but along this time, as it's been going down and down and down, the price of Bitcoin, they're buying up a pretty massive amount. 320 here on August 16th, 320, 548 August 19th, and so on and so forth. So this is not financial advice, but if I'm looking at these things, this is how people get rich. Money isn't made in the bull markets. It's made in the bear markets when no one wants to touch this because they're afraid of what's going on. And that's pretty much exactly how I made all my money in the last bear market. So that's what's going on in the markets itself. And then just as a refresher, don't forget that as one thing goes down, you want another part to go up. So if you're looking at housing or crypto or markets, you always want things to balance out. And that's why I talk about Masterworks. Just so you know, I've got 2. This is, of course, investing into fractionalized shares of fine art. I have a Banksy and a Basquiat. Again, these are shares. I don't own the whole thing. I'm not a multi-billionaire, but it works out pretty well. And then since October, since I bought both of those paintings, or more specifically the Basquiat, I'm up about 40%. And just so you know, year over year, or annualized returns, Masterworks has done, and actually has outperformed Russell, NASDAQ, S&P, and the crypto market. And year to date, they're up 15%. And why is that? It's because, like I've always talked about, rich people are crazy. They don't care how the market goes. They want to buy fine art. And this is Banksy. The original portrait was 1.4 million. And of course, after it shredded itself, that's 25.4 million. Why? Who knows? Because people love art. Also, just so you know that these are registered with the SEC, as these are securities. So you don't have to worry about all those problems. Here's all the documents. If you want to take a deep dive and the video and just sign up, there's a link in the description. Looks just like this, and you can have at it. Now, again, you don't have to use the affiliate link. That's fine. You can go right to Masterworks. But this is what I'm doing as far as diversification. All right. So that takes care of the markets itself. Now let's talk about the New York experience. And I honestly had no idea I was actually in this area. We're just walking around. Me and my wife and a couple of friends went to New York for the US Open. And we're just hanging around downtown. And I just looked at the side. I'm like, wow. Holy S, this is the Solana store. I should probably step in there. And this is essentially what it looks like. Very nice. I mean, all the stores in New York are very nice. That right there, that's a gentleman that helped me. That is Cameron. And when I walked in the store, it's pretty funny. He goes, can I help you? I go, yeah, I'm just looking around. He goes, do you know what these things are? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I follow them. And he goes, yeah, I know who you are. And I was like, oh, shoot, maybe this is maybe he caught the videos of where I was bashing on Solana and how it has DDoS attacks and how it kind of comes down every so often. So I was like, yeah, that's me. So we're talking about it. Very nice guy, though. Cameron showed me around and what's going on. So here was the whole spiel about how this all works. So you walk into the store. He's like, this is Solana. And I asked him the question. I go, how do you deal with this? Because like for me, I mean, we know what's going on, but for the majority of people that come in, what happens? And he goes, yeah, it's very simple. They come in, they go, what is this? And we talk about what Solana is and what crypto is and Web3 versus Web2. And then it's just better to show everybody. So the first thing he did is he said, I'm just going to take you down the trip. Now, I didn't do the whole experience like how you would take a person down, because it took about 10 minutes and we were in a rush of time. But this is essentially what Cameron showed me. It was very simple. He goes, take your phone out, took my phone out. And he said, because there's some spotty reception, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to connect to the kiosk as far as the internet so you can have some good Wi-Fi. So I scanned the QR code, which is what a lot of people are used to these days because of coronavirus, as we would scan all the menus. So I scanned that, got into the store Wi-Fi. He goes, great. Now I want you to scan this code. And of course, that downloaded the Phantom wallet. Great. So again, you have to understand that what he's doing is he's taking people through the process so they understand, how this all works and why to do it and things like that. So great. So I have a Phantom wallet, which I didn't have on my phone for some reason. I actually just only had on my computer. And so he said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come over here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make an NFT. And we're going to take a picture. And I'm going to send it to your wallet. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. So this is me and Cameron. And I took a picture. And then, of course, once this all went through, I was asking him, I go, hey, man, what's up with that phone that you guys are doing? Is that actually going to come through? And he goes, yeah, that's going to come through. I go, well, is it going to happen? He said, yeah, Q1 2023. And he said it like as if it was fact. I was like, okay, well, that's it. He goes, yeah, we're going to go through. It's on an Android device. It's going to cost about X amount of dollars. It didn't seem like an exorbitant amount. He said, we'll have everything that'll go from Web 2 to Web 3, and it'll be a blockchain phone essentially. I go, great, and that's really going to happen? He goes, yeah, it's really going to happen. I was like, well, if that is true, I took a look at it. Looks like a normal average phone. So we'll see if this is the next great adoption process. I just was surprised at just how adamant everybody was there about it. And they're like, yeah, that's just a foregone conclusion. So we'll see if that happens. But anyhow, back to the NFT process. So we're here and took a picture. And what he did, he says, okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send that to your Phantom wallet. And of course, bam, there it was. There's me and Cameron looking at nothing. And he walked me through the whole process. He goes, okay, so we're all about NFTs here. And there was 2 or 3 more different QR codes we could scan so we could get free NFTs. And along that way, he talked about if you want to buy anything in the store. And of course, as we minted these things, it didn't really cost anything at all. He goes, as we go to the store, you can actually purchase everything at 50% off for anything that's in real life. Like they had stickers and they had T-shirts and, just goofy merch like that. So that was essentially how it was, just going through the whole process. And I thought about it, and it was interesting to get people into that whole process of understanding what NFTs and minting them and realizing that it doesn't take, cost an arm and a leg if you're doing through Ethereum. And I was with my wife and a couple of friends, and I'm like, do you guys want to do this? They're like, why? Why would we want to do this? This doesn't make any sense to us. And I was going to bring him into Cameron, and I was like, yeah, that does make sense, because maybe they don't really get the whole process of what is going on. But then I remembered something, and this is, if we're taking a look at NFTs and why we need them, this kind of came up as I was going through this whole process, because there's going to be people like me who get into it. There's going to be people like friends of mine and my wife who are like, I don't understand. This makes no sense to me. But it really comes down to functionality. And this brings me back to my day when everybody went through the internet. They're like, why do I need email? Why do I can just pick up the phone, a landline, and I can call somebody and tell them exactly what's going on. Why would I need to send them an email? It doesn't make any sense to me. This was the real thought process. And it's the same thing, I think, with NFTs. Why would I need an NFT? This is just a goofy picture that is absolutely nothing. With Solana doing these things at the kiosk store itself, I thought it was interesting because now they can start to see just how easy an NFT is. And not just the goofy pictures. And they had DGen, Ape Academy all across the board. And we're talking about, and it was great. But first of all, it was cheap. Second of all, it was very fast. And then when I took a look at, if you think about what NFTs are, it's not just about these goofy GIFs or GIFs or whatever you want to call them. Really, if you take a look at NFTs, this is the whole process itself. These are the things that we're going to use in the future. And we're going to need a chain like a Solana, like a Cardano, like an Avalanche, like a Polkadot, like an Ethereum, if they ever, get the sharding and all that stuff and they can drop the fees. This is what we're going to be using these things for. Digital IDs, tickets, digital artwork we already have, proof of achievement and skills, pictures, profiles, domains and usernames, intellectual property, counterfeit protection, emails and messages, medical records, voting, memberships for digital assets, content rights, degrees, diplomas, legal documents, and everything that you could think of as what we're going to need. So when I think about right now, like what are we doing as NFTs? Like I don't get it, honestly, as far as like the NFTs. And Cameron was telling me, he's like, well, if you mint these NFTs here, then of course later down the road it'll give you access to further functionality and utility and all these things. And again, for a person looking down that way, I don't think it's gonna really sink in for everybody. But I think if you play it out like this in the future, we're gonna need these NFTs to do a lot of different things. I think that's where the home run is in the education. And just by them having that physical store and walking through it and just having people just go, I'll answer your question. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. I think that's the route to adoption, which is just a bunch of education and explaining why this is the new thing. And that's just my thought process there. So there is that part. But then there was also this other thing in the back of my mind, which talks about, Solana. And I know people are going to, of course, there's some people love Solana, some people love Cardano, and there's some people who love Ethereum, and they're going to say, well, Solana, breaks down and there's slowdowns, and yes, that's true. And Ethereum is high transaction. Yes, that's also true. All these things are very true. However, when I was taking a look at them, like, what's perfect in the beginning? And I'm not talking about the ecosystems. The ecosystems that are built on Solana or that are built on Cardano or built on Avalanche, those are susceptible to hacks and frauds and things like that. That's the ecosystem. It's the main chain. So if we're just talking about the main chain, not the ecosystem, we have to be fair about all that. So what I want to take a look at was, well, what's the cost and what's the transactions per second and all those things that people talk about. And there's a couple of different websites, explorer.solana.com. And you can see right here that if we take a look at transactions per second, you're looking at right now is today, 3,200. And that's pretty good. I can see there's a TPS history, average ping time, so on and so forth. Great. And also if we take a look at Solana Beach, and what I'm looking for here is just, again, the same thing. If we're looking at transactions per second, circulating supply, current TPS, 3234. Okay, it's about the same. And then also my question then was, well, how cheap is it? So if we take a look at transactions, he'll bring it up right here. These are all just happened, a lot of them, 30 seconds ago. You're looking at really nothing, let's be honest. 0.0005. Right now, one Solana is $30, so that's fractions of a penny across the board. So that knocks off two questions, transactions per second and cost for transactions. It's pretty nice. However, there are some things lingering in my mind that I think about. And we answered this question here in the Cardano Ghost Chain spreadsheet or Google file. And one of the things that was brought up was, well, with Ethereum, they have, as far as like transactions, they do quite a bit. And this one right here says on July 31st, transaction count 1,158,000. And Cardano only had 91,000. But then, this is through Masari, you can take a look at the adjusted transaction volume. This is the estimated on-chain transaction volume for the past 24 hours, adjusted to try and remove some types of non-economic transactions, signing things back and forth, wash trading or whatever, or just bots moving back and forth just to seem like there's a lot of transaction volume. And if you do that in Masari, you can definitely see here there's a difference. Ethereum, the same day, you had adjusted transaction volume was $1.52 billion worth of transaction volume. And the same day, there was $7.8 billion with the transaction volume on Cardano. And you can verify, again, all this. There's links on this spreadsheet or on this slideshow. There's also links in the description you can check out. And one thing that did concern me, we just saw transactions per second. We just saw the fees. But if I take a look at Masari, in the same way that I could take a look here through Masari and find all the transaction volumes and adjusted transaction volumes, with Solana, it doesn't really have it there. So I don't know if that's just they're catching up or what exactly is happening, as opposed to Ethereum, which has all the on-chain data. But again, on-chain data can be manipulated, and that is one of the things that concerns me. But to sum it all up, I think it's a step in the right direction, and we'll see which one it is. I don't know which one's going to make it. I don't really care. I just try to invest into as many as I think that could do well. And then as time moves on and we see which one pulls ahead, I will go with that one. And that's it, because I'm just an investor. Anyhow, let me just think about that in the comments section. And that does it for today. So today, we're doing a little something different. Usually we do a live stream. What I want to try to do this in a recorded fashion. I am live in the chats. You've seen me already. And now what's going to happen is we're going to go through the Q&A. And to do the Q&A, what I want to do was just do what's called a redirect. And this might actually work. I'm not for sure. We're going to see how it all works out. So to redirect, if you have things turned on, it'll just redirect you right after this show and we can go into it. However, you see that, of course, I'm in the comment section here, and this is just a live premiere. So if you want to go to the Q&A and you have the autoplay is on, it'll automatically redirect. If your autoplay is off, very simple. All you got to do is just click on the video that comes up right here and whatever I say. And then we'll go to the Q&A and I'll answer all your questions the best of my ability. It's just a way to break things up and make things a little bit more concise. So that's it for today. So if you liked the video, thumbs up and subscribe, all that good stuff. If not, come on over to the Q&A. Ask me any questions you want to. It's going to happen right now.